The Boys Season 4 simply is not it. The Boys is a really interesting show to me. To preface this rant, I'm going to say that I actually really enjoyed Seasons 1 to 3, with the exception of the Season 3 finale, which I felt was very disappointing in many ways. But we won't get into that right now, my little crumpets, because today's legendary Super Saiyan rant is about Season 4, and how fucking disappointing it has been so far. One of the biggest criticisms around Season 3 was that the show's core plotline didn't exactly gain a ton of traction compared to previous seasons, and honestly that problem is exacerbated around 100-fold in Season 4 thus far. I should probably format this rant properly before this devolves into an orgy of text unceremoniously sacrificed on the altar of bad writing, so here's your header, you little fuckwit. Frenchie and Kimiko's arc this season has been pretty disappointing to say the least. After 3 seasons of build-up towards them developing a relationship, this is suddenly thrown out the window with little to no warning. The entire chemistry and dynamic between their characters feels very toned down this season. Frenchie has been on a pretty unfortunate decline towards being a rather boring character for a while now, and this latest development feels like a right kick in the bollocks. In addition to the romantic relationship between him and Kimiko being eroded, we've also been introduced to something bad that he did in the past, murdering his new boyfriend's family with absolutely no context, reason or build-up. Normally a shocking revelation like this should have some emotional weight or create tension between characters, but since we have had basically no time to develop a relationship with his boyfriend's character, it just falls. I really like this character as a concept, and she has some pretty interesting quirks, such as the self-lobotomy bullshit. I think the writers are going to have to handle this character very carefully. With super smart characters, you either end up with nonsense plot shenanigans full of holes, or alternatively Sherlock Holmes tier crap where they make virtually impossible deductions. It's too early to say what will happen with this character, so I'm holding thumbs for how it's going to go in the future. I do think this character suffers quite strongly with the writers relying on explicitly telling us how smart she is instead of dynamically showing us, though. The introduction to Huey's mum this season has been pretty fucking unnecessary. She hasn't contributed anything to the story thus far, and I don't think she really needs to exist. It feels right now like she is being used as a mechanism to artificially drive drama in Huey's life, which is a trend I'm noticing across the entire season so far. Huey's dad has been irrelevant since S1, and I am confidently sure that a non-insignificant number of the audience does not give a flying fuck about him having a stroke. In addition to this, it's pretty remarkable that after Huey's entire development in S3 and learning that V was the worst mistake he's ever made, he'd consider shooting his dad up with the bad blue juice. Starlight, this character, has been the recipient of significant shaft this season. She'd gone from a strong, assertive and confident woman who was fully aware of her values to being an indecisive, insipid leader. The plot points about her aborting Huey's child are also pretty fucking significant, so why is this arbitrarily thrown out by Firecracker with absolutely no warning or context? Do the writers not think that the audience should have seen the character conflict and development between her and Huey that led to such a noteworthy and significant life event? A lot of this season has been Starlight dealing with manufactured outrage, and it genuinely is really disappointing to see how poorly she has handled the obstacles that have been thrown her way. The plot thus far has been a discombobulated mess. There is quite simply too much disjointed shit happening in an isolated context with each character, and the clear thread is unfortunately not there. There needs to be some kind of goal or overarching objective that the boys are working towards, or otherwise some kind of vehicle to drive the story forward, because right now it just isn't it. Currently we are split between the following plot threads. The new characters aren't nearly as interesting as past seasons. I find myself skipping through any scene with Colin. Sage is okay-ish, but she's more of a plot device than an actual character. Firecracker was pretty lame, but her backstory with Annie actually added some depth to the characters. I just do not give a shit about Huey's mum at all. Ryan's story is probably the most interesting to me. I also like the Deep and Atrain evolving a bit as characters, but as others have said, the stakes kind of feel gone. Homelander goes from being one of the most terrifying characters on television to bumbling about trying to catch Huey in a vent. Like, what the fuck? Dude couldn't just fly at supersonic speed through the vent and catch him immediately. It would have been way more effective if a train grabbed him out of the vent. The Boys Season 4 Episode 5. What a ridiculously boring episode. Huey's dad getting powers was the most entertaining part of the episode. Then it was Ryan and Homelander. Homelander is always one of the best parts of every episode. Butcher capturing Samir is interesting, but more for the reveal to the rest of the boys later and when Nadia finds out. More interested in what Victoria and Edgar are about to do. What a dud of an episode. The first episode in the entire show that I checked to see how much time was left. In conclusion, this season is mid, and not as interesting as the other seasons, but maybe Maybe the next episodes will change that. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you like it. See you in another video.